All right, good morning and welcome back to the Game Dev Show. Today I've got Greg, Andrew, and Pal here, and I don't know who else will be joining us because we're going to be tearing apart my new game that I've been working on and talking about game dev experience. There's a lot of stuff that I've been thinking about through the last week, a couple things that I built that I wanted to show you all and get some feedback on. And I think it'll be a fun, interesting discussion. And for everybody who's just joining us live, make sure that you vote in the poll, trying to get an idea of how experienced everybody is who's watching with us live right now, kind of get a feel for the audience. And if you're not already subscribed, then hit the like button, of course. Go do all of that. So good morning. How you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Doing well.
Doing great.
Good. Everybody had a good week so far, I hope.
Very good. Last week, not so much. Allergies were killing.
Yeah. Andrew, you said you were doing a bunch of streaming this last week, right? You're still working on this projectile system, right?
Yeah, the projectile system is almost done. I think the code's pretty much done. It's probably going to find a few more bugs here and there, but I'm in the process of basically doing the tutorials. I've already written out like quick start guides on the docs. I can record some tutorials on basically the same thing, so you can watch it or you can read it, your choice. Last night I was going to make a demo game, and I totally recreated Greg's game, and so now I'm going to instead riff off Greg's game. He has a whole tutorial series you can talk about, Greg, about space combat, very extensive, and so I was doing the space combat thing just out of the blue. That's why I decided to work on to demo.
What is that? Can you explain that a little bit more? Or maybe Greg, what's that tutorial?
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, so it's just how to make like a 3D space shooter where you're flying through space in a fighter, and there's asteroids, there's enemy ships that are AI controlled. I teach things like how to use a PID controller to have AI do smooth, movement and stuff. And
okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
A lot of different topics in it.
I feel like that ties in perfectly with what I was thinking about and what I wanted to talk about today. I know I need to shave. I'm getting called out for my fur on the stream. But no, one of the first games that I built on my own in XNA was a space shooter thing where you would fly around, blast things with rockets, and I thought it was the most amazing thing in the world when I got projectiles to follow me around and blast stuff. And that took me like, I don't know, a week or so to get right. And I was like, oh, this is really, really cool. And now when I look back and I think about the effort required to do something like that now, it would take me like half an hour. And I'm realizing like a lot of the things that used to take me, things that used to take me a day take me a few minutes. Things that used to take me a week now take me like a day at most. And it's all really comes down to just having done the things before and kind of knowing where to go and what to waste time on and what not to waste time on. So that was kind of my big revelation as I was going through and just adding more and more things and realizing how quickly this can all happen. And there's a question on chat real quick about, does the asset store publisher of the week always update on Sunday? The answer to that is no. They change on Thursday. They just changed it yesterday. That's how I know. I was watching it. The Connect publisher changed, and now there's a new sound effects one up there. There's also, if you haven't seen it yet, for everybody, go check it out. There's a $20 sale where a bunch of stuff is just $20, which means that some assets are like 30% off. But I think there were at least a couple that I saw that were like 97% off because they were
87% off.
Or 87. Yeah, I might have gotten my number slightly off there.
That might be that high. I don't know. I didn't look.
Yeah, your monster pack was one of the ones that I saw, and I was like, 87%. That is by far, like other than the old flash deals where if you were really lucky, you got stuff at 90% off. That is the best deal that you're ever going to find on that one, or on a couple things. So I'm going to dig through it again this morning. I was looking a little bit earlier, but it seems like there's a couple really good ones in there. Also, a couple of the Connect ones that I'm using in this game that you'll see, and I think one of the character packs other than yours that I'm using is in there. So anyway, yeah, interesting part. The game tutorial, where does everybody go to view that, Greg, if they want to see how to make one of those games in Unity?
Yeah, my YouTube channel. And there's a playlist, how to make a 3D space shooter in Unity. There's 19 videos in that playlist. It's about 16 hours of content.
Okay, nice. And you've been using that, Andrew, to make or work with your projectile system as the example?
Not yet. This thing I was just showing a second was one I made last night, basically. But Greg has his all fleshed out. He's got it on GitHub, and he's given me permission to use it and then build by just adding the projectiles and the North Star system for the overlays to that. So it's very easy to add both of those to a game like Greg's. It's just import them and just do a few small things and then you're done. So that's what we're going to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And then, Pal, what's going on behind you? I gotta ask because I keep watching all this trees popping up and the buildings popping up.
Yeah, we asked one of the YouTubers that we are colleagues with to take our castle and make something different with it. And he thought took us our autumn level and showcased what you see behind me. So new scene with our castle changed in matter of hours.
Ooh. It looks really cool. Yeah, it's in the autumn pack.
It's I think autumn, forest, mountains, and the castle pack. Yeah. So,
okay.
So he used several packs to just have fun with it.
Nice. It looks really cool. And your castle pack, I feel every time I look at it, I just want to make an MMO. I just keep trying. I've been looking at trying to use some of your terrain stuff too for the for this game. I'm just not at the point where I'm using terrain yet. I've still got big placeholder stuff in there. Actually putting tile grids as the placeholder for now. Let's see, castle. Yeah. Oh, I thought I heard you talking. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's set level design. He focuses mostly on doing speed level design. So his channel is all speed level designs with different assets from asset store, free packs, buying packs, and so on. He showcases many interesting things.
Nice. I just shared the link in the description. It looks really cool. I wish I could do level building. I mean, I'm okay with being able to code, but it would be nice to be able to be good at level building.
Me too.
Yeah, it's so hard. Isn't it one of the hardest parts is actually putting things together?
That's what I feel like. Like building a level for me feels like
I think half by half. I would say making tools for the designers and then doing the design. Yeah, I would say the same thing. Yeah, because when Bart is building a new castle or something, he always goes to me, give me this tool, this tool, this tool, this tool, this tool. Yeah. So most of our designs are just making lots of tools by my side, and Bart uses them to make the best usage he can do with Unity.
Yep.
But I think I told it on the show. Yeah, for each tool that we release in our packs, I have about right now. I think I have 5-to-1 ratio. Yeah, so I have my own 5 tools to 1 tool that we release on the asset store.
Oh, damn. I didn't realize it was that many internal ones.
Yeah, we have lots of them. Because without them making this kind of scene with this kind of size, it's for 4 people team wouldn't be possible if we didn't automate many additional things.
It makes sense. I was speaking of tools, I think that's a good time to switch into what I wanted to show, and also again ties back into that experience thing, because one, like you mentioned, tools make it so you can do things with a small team. And when I was working Wednesday, I was setting up the effects for characters, and I realized like, okay, I'm putting in like my third visual effect now. I don't want to be manually setting up every single every single effect in game tied in with abilities and have that all put together. I want to be able to do this really quickly, modify it at runtime, make a whole bunch of effects, and then hook those up to abilities at runtime. So what I ended up doing was recreating something I've seen dozens of times in other game companies, and just adding a little ability effects editor that looks kind of like this. Yeah, why is my video quality so low? I have no idea. Is the stream quality okay on the desktop?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why my video says it's at 1080p, but it's just not. I don't know what's going on there. Let's see. Turn it off. Turn it on. I still look weird. Whatever. Anyway, this is the editor, so you can see in here I've got all of the characters that I've added to the game, and any character I add in just shows up on the list. And then go grab, like, Andrew, what's one of your characters I should grab? Pick one.
Probably Mushroom Monster.
The Mushroom Monster. So Mushroom B2, there he is. And what should he attack?
You should attack the gelatinous cube.
Okay. And then I actually have a mushroom attack, this Spore Splash, that just shoots over an effect and then hits him. Now the other thing you can do is add in like multiple targets and do it. And since this one's set to be an AoE, or it actually doesn't really matter if it's set to be an AoE, but it'll go over and hit all the targets because it shoots a projectile. You could also shoot the trooper shot. So if I go over to where's the trooper dude? One of these guys is an elite trooper. The shot, there we go. That shot looks a little bit better on him. And then you can go through all of the different characters, and they can all cast or use all of the different abilities. You can test them out on everything, and then to add in new ones, just go down to the actual effect. So I can go find my ability effects. Oh, not that one. Go into the game folder, go to the ability effects, and just go down and create a new effect object. So if I wanted like a different version of this Spore Splash one that shoots a poison missile and has a green hit, I could duplicate it and make a purple splash. I'll delete this later. And then we'd go change out the caster to target effects. Maybe search for what other missiles are there? These are just using all this asset pack stuff. Now let's go with the water missile. Maybe I'll name this a water attack. And then we'll do is there a water hit? I don't even have to look at it because I'm just going to change them out at runtime. So we'll find one that looks water-ish. Is this an effect? Nope. Find one that's a good... That tornado is probably going to be terrible. But let's try it. So then we hit refresh. Bam, the new one shows up. And if I could remember... What did I name that one? Anybody know? I lost track of the name of the one that I just made. Where's the name? What? Oh, Purple Splash. Okay, Purple Splash. Bam, hit that. And, well, except you can see that effect obviously needs a little change. The
Pink Splash.
The tornado one is using a... let's see, let's do an impact. Purple fire impact, whatever. But you can go in and just change them out, create all of these effects, and then these effects just get assigned to characters, and you can change them out at runtime. So you can swap them out, make new effects, put them all together, and then not have to do that in your game. Oh, it's just something I wanted to show. I'm going to do a full video on how it works and how to build something like that yourself. But I feel like putting tools like this together, which, like I said, took maybe 3-4 hours, makes it so that you can then put your game together drastically faster. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that and call it out. And I mean, it sounds like, Pal, you're already doing similar stuff where you're building tons of tools to make your development faster. What about you two, though? Greg, Andrew, you guys the same?
Yeah. I mean, so as an example, last night I was doing this thing and somebody mentioned, oh, what you really need is overlays. They knew about North Star and they were hinting, hey, put North Star in it. And I was going to do that anyway. So I brought in North Star and it's been a few months since I've used it. And this is a screen overlay and edge overlay thing. And so I went to my docs and I said, okay, let me just look at my quick start because I know I've written docs on how to do it, remind myself. And I said, okay, the docs say bring this over, did that. Okay, now it says do this. Okay, did that. And then I clicked play and it just worked. Now it had the default overlays, right? And I still wanted to customize it to make it more unique for this project, but just 2 clicks essentially. I mean, more than just 2 clicks, just 2 actions, 2 steps, and suddenly overlays, edge overlays, and screen overlays were just working. Now
Yeah,
I
that was
spent a
pretty
lot of time.
impressive.
Yeah, I was very impressed with myself too. If I don't say so myself, but I was spent a good amount of time making this whole system, and the system is very customizable, and I was further able to customize it and change the distances and all that very easily. But that initial like, let me bring it in, and now it just works. Now we can move on with the project type of thing is I think very important because then you don't get bogged down on these small things when you really just want to get something that looks about right and move forward. You know very well you're going to change it later. You're going to refactor, you're going to update things, you're going to keep tweaking it as you go along. What you need in the first little bit, especially, is just to get to a place where you find out this is fun or this is not fun, and
That's
then
exactly
move on.
what I was thinking. You got to kind of like get to the part where you've made something fun, not where you've made a bunch of systems and optimized stuff. And I feel like that's the case for if you look back at almost any big successful commercial game, especially the first one in a series, the code base, at least at launch, is probably terrible. It's probably a big mess of stuff, but it's at the point where it works. And that's because to get the game to actually launch, you've got to go fast. You've got to keep adding stuff, and you got to be able to change somewhat rapidly. And a lot of the time, when you're organizing and being really optimized with everything, you just never actually get to the point where things are done. If you've got experience doing it, you've done it multiple times, you got a process down, it's a little bit different. But if you're trying for your first time, or your team is trying for the first time to build something and they're trying too hard to build out and optimize little things before the game's fun, it's just a giant waste of time. You got to get it fun and then figure out all the rest of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and I mean, DB Web says the biggest game dev lie to yourself is it's temporary. I'll improve it later if needed. It runs 60 FPS. Anyway, yeah. I mean, you should though. You should wait and do it later if needed, because a lot of the time things get optimized when it's not needed, and you build and optimize a system and then rip that out, and then optimize another system and rip that out. And in that time, you could have optimized it for fun. And that's really what you've got to do, is optimize the game for fun, make sure that people actually enjoy it, that you've got it to a point where it's good, and then optimizing for performance after that, as long as it's not a huge architectural problem and you've got kind of the basics and fundamentals of what you're doing down, is not that difficult. Micro optimizing every single method, class, and all that stuff, it will waste a lot of time if you're doing it before you're at the point where it's actually needed. So get it to the point where it's fun. And I guess that's another one of the things I've learned over time is like, I've got this game and it's almost a fully functioning game in about a month. I never could have done that going by my old practices of optimizing the hell out of everything and focusing too much on systems. I mean, I know I spent a month building a networking setup for a game that I never got past the point of being able to log in and create a character. You couldn't actually play the game, but you could do all the networking, the database stuff, and all that. It took me a good month and a half, but there was no game. I've decided, now I go kind of the opposite way, where it's just get the game done, get it fun, get it interesting, and then figure out the optimizations. Because as you get better, refactoring becomes nice and easy too. It's not a difficult task anymore. So.
Yeah, and I also noticed, like, even with the space thing I was doing last night, I was much quicker at just adding a script here, adding a script there, do this, do that, do this, and then at some point I realized, oh, I need a manager script, So I add a manager script, and then I'm like, okay, let me just make this work with the manager now. So there's small refactoring as you go. Oh, add this part. That's cool. Now let me add this part. That's cool. Let me add this part. Oh, let me change that because now I've added that part. And it's the iteration. It's a little, if I think from the outside, it might look like, oh, you're wasting time. You should have started with the manager, I guess. But I
That's
wasn't
the
ready,
part that you get, like, I feel like you kind of drill into your head as you like get to the intermediate level. You start going like, oh, I should have pre-planned and optimized all this. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, keep going.
No, that's fine. No, that was exactly it. I mean, so and you know, my first game, which I did release, and it was Unity script and clunky, but it didn't really crash, and you could play it for 30 hours before you beat the game, and it was a full RPG. That game was shit under the hood, I guarantee you. It was, and this is the game where I learned what that you shouldn't do everything in the update loop. You know, that's the level I was at. But
you should do it all in the fixed update loop, right?
oh my gosh, it was hideous. I remember there's my enemies worked great. They had AI, they seemed very natural, they seemed like they had some logic going on. And then I got more than 3 on the screen and everything, the frame rate went down. And then I learned, oh, don't put everything in the update loop, because I didn't know what a method was. When someone said the word method, I had no idea what that was, because I was very new, and I was, as many of us do, making a giant game, even though I had no rights to. But and then I changed it, and then boom, now the enemies move faster. So that was my first big major refactor, I guess. And so yeah, now I approach it very differently. I approach my RPG project very differently than I did the space shooter one. I'm not doing it the way that you would advise us to do it, because I want to make systems. I want to make systems for the asset store. I want to make systems that are robust for a long, larger project. But you know, that's 2 different ways of doing it. And
yeah, your
one,
goal is not to finish the game quickly. It's to build
No.
a bunch of systems that the game uses that are
Yeah.
abstract. Yeah, it's a very different goal and very different target. If you want to build a game fast, you should not do that.
Plus, I already know my game is fun because it's my game. So it's fun. No, but the reason why I know my game is fun is because I'm basing off a game that I still enjoy playing. I don't know if everyone will find it fun, but I will find it fun.
Which game is that?
The Might and Magic 6, 7, and 8 games. Those are the ones that I can still play Might and Magic 6 and feel fun, you know, and enjoy it. So
it's a good fun series. All right, Paul, there's a question in chat for you real quick. I'm going to take that, asking when you plan to release RAM 24 for Unreal, or is that something they would like? They don't like Unreal's water and they want your water. So is that something you're doing?
Yeah, but it's I think 1 year or something like that, because we first want to transfer we want to make the RAM for Unity. It should be in next 2 months. Then we release 1 additional pack that we haven't fully announced yet, and then we are moving the modular castle to Unreal. Yeah. So first, the more important things, then we will focus on the RAM for Unreal.
Oh, okay. And if you haven't seen Pal's assets, I mean, you probably have. There's a link in the description and in the chat. Go check them out. And you can also see them floating behind your head. That castle popping up is just really cool effect. The trees coming out. Yeah, it looks awesome. Andrew, real quick, before I get on to... No, actually, you know what? Let's show this game and then we'll get into it. So I wanted to give you guys the update on the game. I was hoping to get a playable version for you today, but I think it's going to be later this weekend. I'll start mailing it around to get it tested a little bit. But I've updated the menu, and this is what it looks like. I've got a bunch of Andrew's characters in here. I've got a bunch of the Protofactor ones and a couple other ones and a bunch more coming. But what should we pick, Andrew?
We already did the Mushroom Monster, so I feel like we have to do something else. But the Mushroom Monster is the go-to, so maybe the Medusa.
Okay, anything but Medusa. She has a script on her that I need to delete.
Well, that's okay. The Mimic, then, it's your favorite.
Okay, Mimic's number 1. What else? So you can see here. Can you see what's happening yet?
We're building the character out of multiple characters.
Yes.
Well, I guess if we're doing multiple, then yeah, add the mushroom monster if you want to win.
All right. And we got to add in the moth because she's got a special ability I want to show. And then let's do the dragon.
There you go.
All right. So over here on the right, can you see the stats setup? The text, I don't obviously. I think I got to figure out the background here. But now it's building up all the stats based on the characters that you picked. You can see the abilities are over here with amazing descriptions. Lick does 5 damage, which is probably wrong. All my descriptions are hand typed right now. Another reason it was not ready for the demo. And then over here you can see the stats of those guys. You pick your guys and then you hit play. Oh, I don't have any sci-fi guys in here. We'll play again in a minute with a couple more. And then the game bugs out and doesn't work. So that's basically how it works.
I like it.
You can see, that's kind of what I expected. Like I said, it ran into a couple issues here. So trying to get things figured out. Let's try it again before I give you guys the actual demo that's playable. That was happening like half the time on the network connects too. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't break everything. This is my beautiful start menu. All right. Let's get that guy and that guy. Oh, I hear myself. What is this? Oh, the alien family. All right. Did it work this time? All right. Well, this was an amazing demo, everybody. What have I done?
This is
I don't know what happened.
This is what happens with the demos. The minute you press play in a demo, everything breaks. It worked 3 seconds.
The best part is I tested it like right before we started.
Yep.
It's like, let me just do one more quick test since I've been messing with stuff all night and breaking things. And it looks like I might have broken it again. This is why I love live demos. Let me double check that the ability effects one's working. Anyway, so how's everybody else's week outside of watching my beautifully failed demo? Let's see.
Doing good. I'm going to be interviewing Rick Davidson from Game Dev TV on my channel April 14th, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll probably be talking about, advice he might give to people doing indie game dev on the side that, they want to try and make a little money off of it, but they're not really planning on going full time. So.
Oh, okay. That's honestly April 14th.
Yep.
Is it already queued up for people to get a link?
No, I'll add. I don't want to add it too soon. I've had people tell me when I schedule a live stream too soon, it kind of falls off the radar. But
okay.
I'll get it on there.
Nice. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, Rick is awesome. Yeah, I have no idea what happened here. And I am not going to debug live on the show, so I guess we will we'll move the demo to next week. I have no idea how that broke. Oh man, I'm not surprised though. So next time for the next week, I will pre-record and show you all a pre-recorded demo just in case my live demo blows up again. I've actually got a ton of footage though. But essentially you run around as those characters and go blast each other right now I've got it set up as a 4-player MOBA, and I'm going to do our demo as a 4-player mode where you can run around and kill each other. And then obviously spawn creeps and push towers and do all the fun stuff. Really, really sad that didn't work though. If I can get it working later today, I might just do another quick live stream to demo it. But I guess everybody who's wanting to see it, I'm sorry. I feel bad now. Anyway, Greg, can I come on your podcast or your channel sometime too?
Sure.
I'll love to come on. I don't have anything interesting to talk about, but it would certainly be fun.
I'm sure we'll think of something.
Nice.
Yeah, you've let me be on yours often enough. I got to repay the favor. Well, there's probably more favor to me than to you.
I think it would be fun. Yeah, Jeff says I'm sure the error or something. So I'm positive it is. It's probably something really, really dumb that I can find in a version control in like 2 seconds if I look through here. Let's see. Nope, I've changed way too many things since last night. But yeah, I'm sure it's something really simple, but whatever. The people in the course saw it. They got to see the demo Thursday.
We believe you, Jason. Don't worry.
Jeff has seen it. Seen the preview. Wow, that's a shame. Anyway, any new other game dev stuff that's been going on this week? Since I don't have a cool demo to show off.
Game dev stuff. Has there been any big games come out recently? The last big game I think was that everyone talked about on this channel, on this show, was Baldur's Gate, and that's been a while.
Well, Power World, posted
World.
yesterday there was a
World.
big update to Power World. Whole lot of updates to it.
New Pokemon.
Like
I was thinking about adding some Pokemon to this game too, because it doesn't have any.
Seed.
Yeah, I mean, I had Charizard in there earlier. I mean, not Charizard from the asset store in there earlier. So I feel like I should just put them all in as well. Have a bunch of Pokemon. Yeah,
they can fight not Stormtrooper.
Yeah, seems like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
Did you see my not Stormtroopers?
I did.
Am I not a Jedi?
And you already have a not gelatinous cube in there. So
yes. Speaking of gelatinous cubes and mimics, talking to Andrew yesterday about his mimic being in Dark and Darker.
Yeah, this game Dark and Darker, and Kid pointed it out, right?
Yeah. My son thought that I had stolen the mimic in the game that I've got here. Let me screen share it again. Thought that I had stolen this dude. Where's my clear button? This guy from Dark and Darker. I was like, no, that's actually Andrew's mimic there.
Yeah, and it turns out the Dark and Darker, they got it from the asset store, as one does, because let's be clear, that's what everybody does. And then what's funny about it, though, on the wiki, on the fan wiki page for the game, they didn't even change the names of the chests. They're still large, ornate, large, flat, medium, whatever. They just threw in all 10 chests as
they just took all of your default ones. That's what I was gonna do too.
That's exactly what they did. Which is, and so I said, asset flip. Yeah, this is an asset flip. Not an asset flip. That was just a joke.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, it's definitely failing. What's failing here? Get team and spawn point. What? Oh, that's a weird one.
What's the asset you're using to color all the hierarchy, Rose?
That is V hierarchy. Definitely love it. Highly recommend it. Okay, I know what's wrong here. That's hilarious. And Jeff was right. It was a very stupid, simple bug related to something that was not used anymore. Some old code, and apparently I deleted an object. Then it was looking for that object and trying to use the transform. So I'll try to fix that at the same time. But yeah, it says V hierarchies and V tabs. I've been using them constantly, especially V tabs. And as soon as this finishes, I'll show you how I've been using V tabs too. If you guys haven't tried that one out,
I'm using it. And I also use the enhanced editor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Enhanced editor gives you something similar to V hierarchy. It doesn't color things, but it does let you just put -- in front of a game object, in your hierarchy, and it just makes the whole thing a solid color banner when you collapse it.
Oh, okay. Oh, you guys can't see this tab. That's annoying. Okay, so what I've been doing, I got a free floating tab you can't see here, but I've been making free floating windows of things that look like this, where I've got like all of a type of thing. So I have a bunch of, not all of the abilities, but all the abilities I'm working with, and I've just got a free floating window of them. So imagine I just drug this off. Restream's not showing it, right? And do the same for like characters. This is 4 characters just lined up. Or one of the other ways I've been organizing them is like by character plus the abilities, and then their ability effects all in a window. So they're all kind of combined together, which is really nice. So yeah, I highly recommend that one. And let's see. Using something other than programmer art in a project is something wrong. No, I just decided that I want to see if I can make this into a real game because it's been a lot of fun and it's all of the different games that I like combined into one, or at least all of the parts that I like about different games combined into one. So I'm going to try to make it real and show that it can be done with asset store art, unless somebody wants to like throw a bunch of amazing professional artists at me or something to make all the things. I have zero desire. Okay, that didn't fix my error. I was hoping that was going to fix it. It looks like there's one other error here. What's the problem there? Something is null on 43, and it's probably the spawn. Oh, okay. I know what I did. So let me show you how to unscrew up your project real quick. When you put your level management scripts directly on the wrong objects. So I've got spawn points here. Let me turn off this visual effect real quick. Where did I put that? It's on one of these cameras. Split. Okay. So the problem is that the spawners are all set to team 2. I bet. Nope, maybe not. Okay, I have no idea what I'm doing. So ignore me. We're going to demo it a different day. This did not work out at all. Yep, fuck it. We'll do it live. I need something to throw, damn it.
You do.
Oh.
Well,
yeah, that's a good question. Andrew, you do know that Dark and Darker is like a huge hit game, right?
Oh, is it? I don't play games.
Yeah, it's not like a small thing. It's like a huge, yeah. It's a very big one. So yes, ornate mimics are all over the place right now.
Oh, what other things of mine do they use?
I don't know. I mean, it is a very dungeony game, so it wouldn't surprise me if more of the things were like some of your characters. I have only watched my son play it, and it seems
a lot of stuff is from the asset store.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the characters are that they have there are some of your stuff. So
yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it's big enough that they were able to, when they got kicked off Steam, still sell the game off Steam.
They got kicked off Steam?
Yes, they got kicked off Steam. They had like a whole, I don't know the details of it. Maybe one of you do, a whole legal battle with the company they were working with before. And I think they were working on a game and I don't know if they left or it got shut down. I totally forgot all the details. And they went and made this thing and then they were getting sued by the original company. Anybody in chat remember the details? If you do, drop them in. I'm sure it'd be interesting. Or if anybody's got a good link to it. But yeah, it was like a whole dramatic thing. They got kicked off Steam and they ended up doing their own direct sales. And it's a fun enough and interesting enough game that people wanted to play it just because it's like unique. Like my kid really likes it. For me, it looks just way too difficult and grindy. Not a big fan of games where I have to go grind and get stuff and collect things. I spent like 10 years playing MMOs doing that, and I just have no desire to go add more. Ever since I found out about database update commands and insert commands, the idea of collecting loot got way less exciting. Like now loot collecting just always feels like a database insert in my head. So I get zero excitement off of collecting rare items and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a question from DB Web about UI and UX and like what's covered under copyright or trademark.
Oh, let's pull that one up. Let's read it off. So is game UI UX under copyright / trademark? I mean, not the graphics, but the placement, general positioning, and feel. For example, can the mechanics of the WoW interface be copied or any other game? I don't know.
I'm not a lawyer. I understand, at least in the US, is that mechanics cannot be copyrighted. So that's why everyone makes all these Monopoly clones, because you can't copyright the $200 when you pass Go or even the Go space. But you can copyright the other aspects of it, the characters, the story, the name. So I would imagine the placement of, I mean, can you imagine if someone were to say you can't put your score in the top right corner because that's where Mario did it and they have a copyright on that?
I can. Yes.
I mean, Windows 10 and 11, their taskbar at the bottom is pretty much a blatant ripoff of Mac OS, right? So,
I mean, Mac OS is a blatant ripoff of Xerox, I think, right?
Mm. Yeah, but they bought the rights from Xerox. Yeah, they paid Xerox for this
Did
one.
they? Okay.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the way that Xerox directors could buy Apple shares on lower prices for giving them full access to all the departments.
Interesting.
So Xerox did quite big money on it. So yeah.
Okay.
Of course, employees didn't, but the directors did.
Yeah, well, that's how it works. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everybody can make money.
No. All right, let me see. I think I might have this figured out. I'm sure I don't, but I might have it figured out. That doesn't even make sense. Oh, yeah, it does. Need a question mark there. Okay. I'll see if this works. And if it does, I will show it to everybody. Well, thank you for your great legal advice there, Andrew.
You're welcome. It's not a lawyer. I like the stock.
It would be nice. You know what we should do of the lawyers on here.
You'll never get them to give you legal advice online.
There may or may not be a lawyer in chat.
Well, isn't there are like lawyer firms that specialize in video game stuff, right?
Yes. I think it's an interesting specialty too.
Yeah.
A couple different comments in chat about this. All right, let's see. Get that started up. Of course, I started it in the wrong scene like I always do, so it's going to be another minute or so before I demo, if that even works. Andrew, Powell, you guys got anything new coming on the asset side? Any new things in the sales? I know, Andrew, you're in the sale that's going on right now, right? The $20 sale with the
Monster Bundle 7.
Is it Monster Bundle 7? Can you screen share that one real quick and show everybody what it is? Because I actually have a bunch of those monsters in the game.
Okay, let me quickly switch over.
And Pal, do you have anything in the $20 sale?
Nope, not this time.
Let's see. It should be here somewhere. There it is. Yeah, so this is got some great stuff. It's got the Mummy and the Anubis. And yeah, so this is my old demo scene from back in the day. But it's got the Mummy with the sarcophagus, the Anubis, the Harlequin, and Skeleton Warrior. So nice stuff, I think.
Yeah, I just put Anubis in game.
Oh, perfect. The Anubis was the first character that had mesh morphing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The animator who did it, these the little anklets on the bottom, he did this thing where he made them duplicate, which they only came with one, but then suddenly he had a blend shape that made them more. And I was like, how'd you do that? And he was showing me, and I was like, wait a minute. So suddenly I was like, can you do this? Can you do that? He was like, yeah. I was like, uh-oh, we need to go back and change everything. And so the Anubis was the first one that had mesh morphing. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. That is cool. Yeah, I'm not using the mesh morphing at all either. That's the funny part. Like, I've got all of your characters in here, just using the demo one. Just like, straight demo character.
There's nothing. That's the way to go. I mean, because like you said, we said earlier, just the goal is just to get something in that works, and then you can tweak it later, right?
Yeah.
If you spend an hour trying to get the perfect face on the Anubis character, you're going to end up wasting your time because you know,
it's a
then you
giant
realize
waste
later-
of time. Unless it's, I feel like those are super handy if I wanted to do variation. So if I want to have a bunch of them and you're seeing their faces in this top-down view, not going to matter at all. Or if you want to do character customization stuff, you want to allow them to players to be those characters, or doing like more first and third person stuff, super handy there as well. For the top down things, just get them in. They already look awesome out of the box. They have good animations, and some of them already have particle effects on them, so they just work. And then, maybe like you said, you can always change them out later. Put in some real gelatinous cubes. I don't know. I haven't seen any that really looked any better, or mimics.
And it's specifically called jelly cubes, not gelatinous cubes. I'm pretty sure.
They're called jelly cubes?
Yeah, because there's some words that are trademarked and other words are not.
Okay. That's fair. And mimic, I assume, is not a trademarked word, since it is a word in the dictionary.
I am a lawyer.
A single one. I don't know. Well, I was going to call my guy not a stormtrooper and not a Jedi, so.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Not a Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah. They do look really cool. Oh, man, I wish I could show it. I'm really sad now that I've broken things. You know what I should do is just commit and then do a rollback. Broke stuff. This is why you don't code in the middle of the night. Well, that's why I shouldn't code late in the middle of the night when I wake up. So then I end up breaking things. Although this was working this morning too, so I guess that's not a very good excuse because I must have broken it this morning. Oh, what is that? Realistic board.
A magic pig from Malber's Animations. I'm calling it the magic pig, but you know, it's really a realistic boar. But this one looks magical.
It looks like a magic pig to me. It's got glowing. Yeah.
It's
so I'm gonna put some animals in too.
On it. That one's not magical though. That one's just a normal, boring boar.
Oh yeah, that guy's not nearly as cool. I like the magical one. I like the Malber stuff too. I was looking at putting a couple things in there from, I think it was his stuff, and I was going to put in a couple of the I don't know how you pronounce it, the Surian one, the anime characters. But I ran into an issue with the Toon shader in there. I think I just need to update it. It had a couple package manager problems, and then I'm trying to think of other stuff to put in. On Thursday during the multiplayer mastery call, I put in a spaceship. So there's a spaceship playable character that's in there. You can fly around, which works great. It has the same ability as the dragon and same energy use, so can fly over stuff and has a fly ability. It's a lot of fun doing all this stuff and putting these things together really fast. It's much more fun when your demos work though, and you can actually show it off. But I guess the demo will be later this weekend, and we'll go through it and play it all. So is there anything else cool on the $20 sale that you saw that will look like a crazy deal? I was going to grab that super text mesh. I keep forgetting about it. I've seen it a million times and it looks awesome, but I haven't actually played with it. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, you mean not Super Mario?
Yes, not Super Mario text. I like their examples. Look pretty nice. It reminds me, it's a lot like Text Animator and Text Pro kind of combined, like just added extra features. You know,
being able to add in basically HTML or whatever the markup is to make different colors and animations and stuff in the text is really helpful. You know.
Yeah.
And little icons too, especially if you're like, you know, if you're into card games and board games, iconography is super important. So in video games, why not, you know, throw in iconography?
And it's a pain in the ass doing that with Text Mesh Pro sprites. I mean, you can do it, but it's not simple. Pal, you got thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't test the idea, but what you're saying, the Text Mesh Pro is problematic in many of these areas.
Yeah, I feel like it's not easy to do that.
I should get this one from my projectiles factory.
Yes, I'm using that in my project. So some of the projectiles. A lot of the projectiles are using his stuff. Like the purple mushroom ones you saw were that. And right now I'm kind of going through the process of giving all of the characters all their visual effects. Some of them are just stolen from other characters temporarily or have none. But those ones were really good in there. I'm trying to think. There were a couple other things that I saw that I was actually using from there. There's a beautify setting, some stuff in there. Oh, some of the protofactor ones. Yes. These guys I haven't put in yet. I was trying to figure out which ones I wanted to use. I'm trying to avoid things that are too huge scale without scaling them down. But I like that big ass beast guy. I just don't know how they'll look top down.
I like this this one over here with the spikes. This guy coming up to the front with the
okay, yeah, the monster guy. I think he's like Monster 2 or something like that.
I hope it rolls. I want it to roll. I don't know if it rolls, but I want it to roll because it's got all those spikes. I
didn't show you my caterpillar has a roll attack, so you can act like Ramus.
I like that. You should put some 2D. Figure out how to put some 2D pixel art in there.
That is definitely not happening.
Oh. All right. So Jason has limitations. Got it.
Yes, there are some things that I cannot do. And that's get excited about adding pixel art to a 3D game.
Why? It looks quite. There are quite few games that use pixel art connected to 3D.
Yeah, like what's the one from the I think it was the people who made Final Fantasy, the latest Final Fantasy or something, but I'm forgetting the name of it. Somebody in chat remembers the name, but it's all like hand painted world and 2D pixel art characters walking around a 3D world. I don't remember.
You don't want to see my hand painted anything, so
no.
Let's see. Let's switch. What's this? Mesh constructor, humanoid robots. Oh,
mechs.
Some mechs, huh?
Everyone likes a good mech, right?
That could be interesting. I should put in like some mech characters. I wonder if Protofactor's got any mechs like that. I think he does too.
There's a lot of mechs on the asset store.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it's one of those things that is cool looking, probably relatively easy to do if you can do this type of modeling because it's just boxes and cool looking gears.
Yeah, Infinzia has done a bunch of mech sculpting on his channel.
There
yeah, but I don't know if he released it.
Oh yeah, can you zoom that one in? To match with all my other Protofactor stuff.
I think, isn't it a part of the sci-fi pack?
It's part of Sci-Fi Robots Pack Volume 1.
Yeah.
It's a little, I don't know if you can customize the weapons though. That would be the only downside. The mechs, the packs that allow you to customize the mech are the best ones because maybe you don't want missiles, maybe you don't want a rail gun or whatever that gun is, you know. But
yeah, as long as you can turn on and off the weapon children, and then spawn the projectiles.
Yeah. So lots of mechs. So there you go.
Nice. Well, my rollback didn't work either. Something is seriously wrong. So it's not my code, which is good. I just don't know. I don't know what the hell it is, which is bad. It's probably just something stopping it from actually starting up as a host.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. I pulled my latest down from my 3D space shooter last night when I was helping Andrew. And when I ran it, for some reason, my movement controls, all I was doing was reading the input manager's current Q key dot is pressed, and it was giving me a null reference exception. I'm like, what? So I didn't have time to diagnose it last night, but I mean, I just pulled a fresh Git and it should work.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first install of the North Star last night, I pulled it down from the package manager. I even looked and it said re-download, not update. So I pulled it down, installed it, and there was a bug. I was like, what the heck? So I found the bug, went back to North Star package. So I got update here, and it was already updated. I was like, wait a minute. Package manager was taking a sweet time telling me there was an update. So I ended up pulling in the wrong one.
Huh.
What can you do?
I've noticed that the package manager does show you now when there are updates to all the assets, which is nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can actually see like your asset pack's got an update, and you can just hit it in there and update them instead of having to scan through and look at every one of them and find them. They actually show up in there. It's pretty cool. Package manager seems to be getting some love. Although I ran into a bug with it with multiplayer play mode earlier, where it just kept stopping the window from popping up because it had an issue trying to read a package that I think it thought was deprecated. I couldn't really tell what the error was. It wasn't very clear, but seems like it's getting better. There was a question here from Dom about whether or not we can do a code review sometime in the future. It got absolute spaghetti that could use some guidance on, and I'm sure others do too. Yeah, I think that sounds like fun. Detangling spaghetti code can be a little bit of a mess. One thing I would recommend for anybody who's in that boat right now, just as a general rule, if you're really struggling with a bunch of just mixed up code, try to set your dependencies to just go a single direction, or at least do that with maybe only some events coming back. It tends to simplify things out, and split up your code into just smaller little sub chunks of stuff. Like find these big classes that are getting used and getting accessed a lot by the spaghetti noodles and rip them out of the big class and make them their own little thing. So then those little noodle lines are just going to a little thing instead of the big pile in the middle. And it tends to make it a lot easier to re-architect and re-engineer it, because then you're taking out these smaller little pieces. For instance, in the game I'm working on here, I've got the characters. So there's a concept of players. Players are the people that connect, and then they have a connection, and the players can control a character. The characters have abilities, they have items, they have a model, and they have a brain on them. All of those are separate components. Each one of them controls and deals with the things that they have to do. One of the things that changed somewhat recently on them was that characters used to have a single role on them, a single class that they could be. So that was just part of the character class. And then that changed to be that they could have multiple, and then that stayed as part of the character class. But eventually what happened was a bunch of things were starting to need to read and access that data, and it was getting confusing. It was bloating and growing the character class. So like whatever was Monday, just ripped it out and made it into a roles class, and then that just sits on the characters class, and then the things that need to reference it can reference the roles. They don't have to. It feels a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier to manage, and it keeps the things separated out. So the stuff dealing with what role I'm in is totally unrelated to all of the other things on characters. Doesn't have to necessarily be there. But yeah, that's my general advice there. But I think it would be fun to do some more code reviews on some spaghetti projects. What do you guys think? Andrew, should we code review your stuff too?
If you want,
buy some.
If you want, I can guarantee you, I do the same thing. I fall in the same traps. I think a lot of people probably do. You got your character, your actor, your whatever you want to call it, and you're like, okay, it needs to move. Oh, now I need to make it fire. So you just okay, let me add a new key code for the fire, and now it's fire. But now your script does two things, right? Now you're moving and you're firing. And then you add, let me add this other logic, and suddenly you realize you've got an Uber class. And so I even with the projectile factory that I'm working on, I did the exact same thing at the beginning. I thought it like one behavior was going to do all these different things, and then after like weeks of working on it, I realized, wait a minute, I should just make each one of these a very small behavior. So each behavior does one thing, literally one thing, and you combine them together, and you get those emergent better behaviors, rather than doing this class does this. Now let me get a child class that adds this other functionality that could have been its own little thing.
Yeah.
But
That's it. I wouldn't split out the movement and firing right away though. Start with those together and split them out as the class grows and it does more things. You may end up that you don't do anything more than just moving and firing, and then you just rename that class to your move and fire class or whatever. And it's not actually your character. A lot of the time for me, I don't know about you guys, the character class ends up really just being a more of like a container that's tying together the components of the character and maybe having some unique identification stuff. And then it's more of just that wrapper that everything is on, and all the things kind of build it up. And that way you can build different types of characters, although most of the time the characters end up having almost all the same components. They end up pretty much the same. So you can just have a single character object that deals with everything, or at least everything character-y, and then you just modify some stuff on each of those components to change what type of character it is. For instance, like in this game, you set the roles, and then that modifies what the visuals are, what abilities are available, and everything else, because those things just look at the available roles. They look at the data there, and then you can just go in, modify all of that stuff at runtime, and have it all update. Well, assuming you can get the game to actually run, that is.
Yeah, and you've got a video, an older video on your channel where you do refactoring like that, and you go in and you found something that is kind of big and it doesn't really belong in the class, and you first extract it out into its own method, and then you extracted that out into its own class. That was
that's kind of the way I end up doing it. Like every time I realize, like, starts as part of a method, becomes its own, then it becomes like a little section of the class, and then it becomes its own class. Like once it gets a couple methods and a few fields, it's like, okay, this has 2 methods and 2 fields. Maybe it should come out. And then once it gets more than that, it's like, okay, definitely. Or starts getting access from other things.
Recently, I've been finding, as I do that process of taking even a relatively short method and extracting each part out to its own little one action method, I find, oh shoot, this is just something that should be in the utilities class. Like doesn't have to be here. This can be elsewhere. I can just move this to utilities, and this now anything can use that one little thing. Yeah, it's neat because suddenly your classes get really short, and they do a lot, but they get really short because everything else is somewhere else and just being reused over and over.
Yeah.
It's a fun
and it makes it easy to read too. Like you can get through stuff, at least for me. I mean,
that it's this funny thing because sometimes I'll move 2 lines to its own method, and it'll just be an expression method, right? But I'll name it something that's very human readable, like do this, do that, do this other thing. And so when I'm looking at the actual method that's doing the things, it is easy. There's 3 things, and you can see exactly what they are. If you think something's wrong, you can dig into that little method and be like, okay, maybe this one thing is breaking, but it's very easy to follow along what's going on.
Yep. It makes it much easier. All right, I think I might have fixed this. Greg, you got to get going though.
Yep. Got to go work. Got to go pay the bills.
Boring.
Thanks, y'all.
Good to talk to you, Greg.
It was good seeing you, Greg. Hopefully we'll have you next week and be able to actually do a play test. I think I might be able to demo yesterday's version though right now.
Cool.
See
y'all. Have a good one.
See you, Greg.
See you later, Greg. Good talking to you.
Years ago, when I was a kid, I used to get these. I had an Apple IIgs that I had in my room, and I had a coding magazine that came in the mail, and there was a program in there. So I was dutifully typing it out to recreate the program. I didn't know how to save it to a disk or anything like that, but I knew if I typed it out exactly, pressed the button, it should play some game. And there were bugs in it, and that was annoying to me. And I had changed the method where I get probably the method names or the variable names, one of the two, to things like fart and other things. So that was like 11 or 12. And I was very excited because I showed my dad something. He was like, okay, but you really shouldn't use fart or other things as the variables. And I was kind of bummed that he said that because I was having fun naming them fart. Now, he didn't explain to me why, because he wasn't himself a coder. But I will say that is one reason why I didn't keep coding, because I wanted to call them fart, and I was told not to. But also the bugs and the thing, and the fact that I didn't know how to save anything to the disk, and it was an Apple IIgs, that probably didn't help either. And I was 12 or 11 or whatever. But yeah, so
Yeah, it sounds about the right age for that. Oh. Okay, this
So
import
this
is going to
yesterday's?
take a minute.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
importing.
it's updating right now on yesterday's build. It's going to take a minute.
Yeah.
I switched it. It's because I switched out a lot of art, or I added and removed, changed a bunch of
Jason,
stuff.
how old were you when you first started coding stuff?
I think 7.
Oh wow.
7 or 8. It was
Okay.
when I ran out of stuff to play.
Oh, okay.
And I had a Commodore 64, and the default was that you were at a code editor. I was like, oh, okay. And I just started typing stuff, and then randomly made things. And yeah, like, hey, it could ask it how old I was, and then it could tell me that I was an old fart, you know? Like that you could put in the age and say, like, that's really old, and piss off your grandma, you know, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it started pretty early. What about you, pal?
The same, about 7 years old. My father was working as computer specialist on one of the universities, and I always was going with him playing games, but one day he came back home with Commodore 64, and I started on it. Yeah, the first game I bought.
Yep. We had a Commodore 64 back in the day too. I think I used to play winter games and summer games on that.
Yeah.
Math Blaster. We had to play Math Blaster before we could play other games, so that we could learn something. But
I remember playing that. All right, here we go.
Cool.
Is it gonna work? Probably not.
No. No.
No. Whatever is going on, it's got to be a network error, because it's just not finishing the spawn and moving the camera. It's not binding up to my character. Something's happening. I probably just need to reboot. That's a shame. I don't know what. Man, I was all excited too. Okay, well, next week it is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the first game I ever modded was Excitebike.
Oh, okay.
You could make your own levels on Excitebike on the NES. You couldn't save them, but you could make them and then play them. I used to do that all the time.
I think I first made levels for Sokoban, it was called.
I don't know.
How it's called in English?
Oh.
This is not the original graph. Yeah, this is Polish. 1 second. I will send you the link to...
Yeah, I don't remember playing this game.
The one that you're going and moving objects in the warehouse.
I've played very similar games. There was one on the Game Boy I used to play like this, where you push boxes around into the spots, and basically a logistics puzzle, right? Or a movement puzzle.
Yeah.
No, I never played that one, but I did use this. This is the first thing that got me started making video games, if I can find it.
I gave you the link to the first version I played. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was from 84. I played it in 90, 91, something like that. Before I knew how to read. Yeah. I started playing it and making the levels.
Wow.
Yeah, it's from 84. It's older than me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there was a game on the Game Boy that was very similar to this.
Yeah, there are so many versions of this game.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, and what was funny is from 84, but you had a built-in editor for the levels.
Is that crazy? I really don't. I mean, even as a 7-year-old on Commodore 64, I got stuck with the 2GS and that. I can't imagine how really lucky in a way the 7-year-olds are today. They're getting sidetracked by just playing Roblox and stuff. But man, even in Roblox, some whether it's good or bad, some of them are making games. Some of them are probably being taken advantage of in that process, but by Roblox. But nonetheless, there's so many opportunities to make shit these days. And it's very exciting.
Yeah, it's drastically easier. Like this was the one that I used first, this Gary Kitchens game maker, and it made it so you could just draw out your sprites, make characters that moved around and animate them and stuff, and it was super awesome. And I mean, I feel like we've been talking a little bit about all the origin stories, but all three of us had access to computers because of people we were around. Like I had it because my uncles, they were both like working at tech companies doing, I don't even know, some sort of top secret-y shit. So there were tons of computers around the house, all the time. I always kind of had access to them. But yeah, like I said, nowadays everybody's got it, and the game building systems are all freely available. They're out there everywhere. So it is definitely a different setup now.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, I remember back then. I was, my father took me, he had classes for students, yeah? It was classes that students saw first time computer in Poland, yeah? So it was 92, 93, something like that, yeah? I was supposed to sit and don't turn on the computer before the students were able to turn them on and to see something on the screen, yeah? Because as the moment the students were able to turn on, they did, wow, it looks amazing. And this moment I just took on, write some scripts and took on to playing and having fun on the computer. Yeah. And 20-year-old students were looking, what he's doing.
Watching, what's he doing to that device?
Yeah, we had computer classes in second grade, so this is probably, I don't know, 86 or so maybe for me, that we did basic on what I don't even know what computer it was. It was some Apple with a black screen with green text and a turtle moving around, and we could program the turtle moving around. And
I learned it was one of the first programs I also was learning, the turtle.
Yeah, it was just basic logic, but that's all it is. It's all you really need, I suppose.
Yeah, we had that in high school, and it was like the advanced thing, and it was the most boring class in the world. I remember sitting there going like, this is really, really boring. Like I'm moving around a little thing. Like all I can do is move, change color, and turn. I was like, I guess I could draw some stuff, but
yeah, I saw a version of that someone made 3D graphics with it.
Oh, really?
He wrote his own procedures to make it possible to render 3D graphics. Everything, the triangulation and everything, yeah.
Yeah, in my class, it was, even the teacher didn't know how to do anything. It was not advanced for sure. Oh yeah, logo, that was it. Logo. Yeah. Good call. Jeff got his dad's old work laptop. Started with QBasic. QBasic was my start too.
Yeah, the same.
Cool. Well, since I don't have a fun demo, I don't know if we got anything else exciting or interesting to talk about.
Have you checked the poll? The poll?
Oh no, let me go look at it again. It looks like we got a lot of beginners in today. Interesting. Not what I would have expected, but definitely.
When I answered it was fairly even.
Yeah, it has changed. I guess if you haven't voted in the poll, go vote now. It looks like it's about 50% under 5 years. The other 40% over, so 60-40. Huh.
Nice. I was looking at the asset store for space for Unity, and when I was looking for spaceships last night, and I was like, oh shit, I bought that 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I was looking through my asset store stuff too. couple days ago. Yeah, I know it was last night. I
It
looking through
was Space for Unity. It's in Venezia, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna bring it in because I remember it had some cool stuff, but then I was like, nah, it's been a while since this guy updated it. I don't know if it'll even work, so I didn't even bring it in. But yeah, I do remember back in the day, Unite in Seattle, I was working on a space shooting game with that package. Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones I pulled in because, like I said, before that I'd made a space shooting game in XNA, and I was like, "Oh, cool! This looks even prettier," and I don't have to write any code; it just worked.
What was your very first asset that you purchased in your My Assets page?
Let me take a look. I really like the new asset store page part that shows you that stuff. The My Assets view.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm also checking, but it's quite few assets. The first one that I bought or that I downloaded, because that's two different things.
Both.
The first I got was character customization by Unity Technologies. I don't know if you remember that one. It was a sample for creating your character customization for games. It was a model standing, and behind it was a mirror. I downloaded it not for the character. I downloaded it for the mirror effect that was included in that asset.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's see.
It's not available on the store.
All my list has all these my own stuff at the back for some reason. So, and now is it showing me my purchase date?
So
yeah, I bought it. I downloaded it December 16, 2010.
Oh, nice. Yeah, mine was. You can see right here. This C# game examples. Where's it at? On October 31st, 2011.
I'm still searching mine. All my packages. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, these are some very simple examples: a jumping thing, cannons, and how to shoot targets. I got the engine. And I was like, "Oh, this is cool. How do you actually do stuff with it? Like, where's the main entry point?"
Yeah, I remember. Oh, I was wrong. What was my very first one was? Oh my gosh! Oh no, sorry. I saw Nature and Manufacture, and I thought it's yours, but no, it wasn't yours. Nature Pack by manufacturer K4 was my first one.
Yeah, the great guys from Poland.
Yeah. They. I was waiting for years for them to update their medieval environment pack, and finally, they weren't doing it, so I just made my own. I didn't want to make my own though. I want just them to update it, but they didn't. So there you go. Not bitter about that, but I made my own. 2D Toolkit, which most of these are gone. This one is still there though. It looks like. I do remember the torch and chandelier in the medieval house though. Those were the first ones I actually remember. But I think I used 2D Toolkit for my initial games that I put out that were just 2D things. But
yeah, well, back then you couldn't do 2D stuff without something like that anyway.
That's true.
That was before there was a 2D framework built into the engine or in the package manager.
Yeah, but you can totally tell all I was buying was fantasy props and swords and stuff at the beginning. And because at the very beginning, when I was after my initial few things, the first thing I wanted to do was make the game that I'm working on now, basically. So, but just an early version of it.
Yeah, for me, the first one was the character customization. Yeah, this one. I don't think I can open the graphics to showcase it. Then extra GUI skins, also not available, and the river tool.
Oh, and you were like, well, this isn't a good river tool. I should make
the origin.
Yeah, it was okay for the back then. Yeah, the gem shader was amazing. Yeah, back then Unity had many small assets for free on the asset store that showcased some technologies. Oh, and Qualcomm AR technology to create AR games.
There you go.
Yeah, and look at this.
What is it?
Easy Roads.
Easy Roads. When did you get that? When was that?
It's 2011 September 1st, 5th.
Okay.
And it's still on Asset Store.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, my first one, Nature Pack, it's still on the Asset Store. It looks like, but 2012, June 2012, so almost 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Right after watching Indie Game, the movie, and then my next one wasn't until December, and that can show you, that tells you right there, that demonstrates the 6 months where I'd said I was in the movie, I watched that, got a book on Unity from the bookstore, and it had bugs in it, so I got frustrated and started studying philosophy instead.
And this pack is one of the first packs I released on the. It was first graphical pack I made with my cousin when we were working for a company that worked on Unity. 2012.
Is that your cousin's account?
No, it was company we worked for. Yeah, so we worked there, and if we didn't have any job to do, we were making assets. I don't think they have any more assets. Yeah, and one of these ones should be the first one I made. Let me check. This is January, and this is January 19th. Yeah, so this will be the first one. It was ImGUI pop-up windows.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Does it still work?
It should be. Most of the code should be okay. I don't have access to this account, so I can't. I would have to check it.
You'll have to buy it.
Yeah, Rewired is somebody mentioned Rewired. I know the developer of that. He's local to me, and I used to see him in user groups. Nice guy. Still working on it.
Yeah,
very, very good asset too.
Yeah. Rewired is a great asset. Yeah, old times.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll wrap stuff up. I'm gonna go figure out how to fix this. Fix this game and my lighting. Whoa, I look really gray all of a sudden. Not just my beard, but my face. Yeah, there's something wrong there. Anyway, yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us. Next week we'll have the demo. Hopefully, I want to get it to a point where everybody, even people watching, can just get in and play. I just need to figure out, obviously, a couple bugs. I'm in so hardcore on just adding features and art. I've got like 100 gigs of art in there now. There's tons and tons of characters and particle effects. I still haven't done the environment, so we'll try to get that all up for next week at least. And then later on this weekend, I'll probably put up the video for how to do the ability effects system, so you can see how to make one of those yourself. It's totally not tied to the game itself. You can drop in any model and it'll just work. You just pop it in there and it'll start shooting particles and playing animations on there. And then for the naming, or for the targeting and muzzle and stuff, it's also super unopinionated. You just put in an object with the name and then match that name in the system, and it will spawn your things there. So you can add scripts and change it if you want, but you don't have to use any custom scripts or anything. It's literally like 2 scripts and then 2 tester scripts that play the animations and show the buttons and stuff. So hopefully useful for people. Does projectiles, instant casts, delayed stuff, animations, all that shit. Should hopefully be helpful for people. Anyway, yeah, if anybody's got anything else, you guys have anything else before we go?
No.
Nope. I'll probably be streaming at some point this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Night.
Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, just subscribe and like and push those buttons and all the junk.
And then the link, go check out the Nature Manufacture stuff. And of course, at the very least, go grab that monster pack if you don't have Andrew's monster pack. That's 87% off. Or go check that out. Like I said, I've got most of your characters in. I'll probably end up putting almost all of them in because I want to get to 100+ characters in here. So no reason not to. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to sustain that long term with the size of that many characters, but we'll see. I'm certainly going to try. It's worth a shot. Other than that, if you want to get the code for that thing, I put it up for the multiplayer mastery course students, and we're going to be talking about it more Monday on the live call, and we're still having live calls Mondays and Thursdays. You can come join those. And anything else I got to say? I think that was it. So I'm going to play my little promo video as the outro, and then we will see you all next week, if not before. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that stuff.
Bye, everyone.
Game Dev Show is sponsored by me. If you want to learn how to build multiplayer games and you're not sure how to start or how to get it done, go to game.course. There's no video playing. What the heck? That was not working. So ignore that. Just go check it out if you want. We'll see you later. Bye.